So we've gotten some really interesting material from you, our listeners, and it seems to center on a pretty common problem, right?
Hmm.
How do you keep intimacy alive, reclaim that part of your life when your schedule is just packed?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge challenge.
And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
Right. And the sources you sent point us towards excerpts from a book by Robin Weston, The 12-Minute Sex Solution.
Okay.
And it's really, it's full of ideas for fitting more intimacy into your life, even when you feel like you're totally swamped.
The 12-minute sex solution. Okay, the title itself is pretty catchy. It suggests you can have good, satisfying sex really quickly.
Exactly.
And the book apparently has 75 scenarios for this.
Yeah, 75 quick ways. And it's not just a guess either. There's research mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a study from McGill University Health Center. They used thermal imaging, actually.
Thermal imaging. Wow.
And they found, get this, men tend to reach peak arousal in about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
And women, around 12 minutes.
Okay, 10 and 12 minutes. That kind of flips the script on needing, like, hours for things to get heated, doesn't it?
It really does. It challenges that whole idea that sex has to be this long, elaborate production every single time to be good.
So the book uses this research as a foundation, then, and gives practical tips.
Pretty much. It talks about setting the stage for these quicker encounters, but then it gets really specific.
Like examples.
Loads of examples. Things you can do during chores or while watching TV, just everyday stuff at home. It's about spotting those little moments.
Got it. So our mission for this deep dive is really to dig into these excerpts, pull out the practical advice, maybe some surprising ideas, to help you, the listener, bring more passion back without it feeling like, just another chore on the list.
Exactly. No big, complicated planning. That's the goal.
Because the book touches on that feeling, right? That couples love each other, but life work, kids, housework, it just drains you.
Oh, definitely. There's an anecdote about someone named Valerie in the book who really captures that struggle. Wanting connection, but just being exhausted.
That sounds incredibly relatable. And the author's point is basically that some intimacy, whenever you can grab it, is better than none at all.
That's the core message, yeah. It's about shifting your thinking away from needing the perfect moment.
And that McGill study kind of backs this up scientifically.
It does. It shows our bodies can respond relatively quickly. Maybe we put too much pressure on ourselves for those marathon sessions.
Right. And there was another study mentioned too, wasn't there? A survey of sex therapists.
Yes. In the U.S. and Canada, they asked about the ideal duration for sex.
And what did people say? I'm curious now.
Well, the therapist reported that most people found 7 to 13 minutes to be desirable.
Desirable, just 7 to 13.
Yep. And even 3 to 7 minutes was seen as adequate.
Adequate, okay.
And interestingly, 20 to 30 minutes was often considered too long.
Too long. That's honestly kind of comforting to hear.
Right. It takes some pressure off.
So how does the book say we actually achieve this 12-minute sex solution? It mentioned 4 steps.
Yeah, 4 main steps. First, nurture arousal. Second, actually devote those 12 minutes or less to connected sex.
Okay.
Third, turn ordinary activities into erotic adventures.
Erotic adventures. I like that. And
Fourth is about hitting hot button positioning. Basically using positions and techniques that work well quickly.
Okay, a clear plan. Let's unpack that first step. Nurturing arousal. For someone with a brain full of, like, grocery lists and work deadlines, actively trying to feel aroused sounds like, well, another task.
I get that. But the book suggests ways that are actually pretty low effort, things you can weave into your day.
Like what?
Like cultivating sexual fantasies while you're doing other things. Driving, shopping, whatever.
Okay.
There's even research suggesting just imagining sexy stuff can trigger similar physical responses.
So, like, mental foreplay throughout the day.
Kind of, yeah. Other simple things mentioned are wearing sexy underwear, even if no one else sees it. Reading erotic literature, though, it does suggest porn is maybe best shared.
Makes sense.
Even eating spicy food. Hot peppers release endorphins, kind of like sex does.
Spicy food. That's a fun one. Any others?
Let's see. Bringing the color red into your life. Clothes or decor. Apparently, color psychology links red to arousal.
Interesting.
Thinking about how you wash yourself in the shower, like imagining it's your partner touching you.
Okay, a bit mindful.
Even just crossing and uncrossing your legs when sitting supposedly increases blood flow down there. Little things.
Subconscious signals, almost. What about more direct stuff, like masturbation?
Yeah. The book is positive about masturbation. Says it can increase your overall arousal levels, which then makes partnered sex potentially better.
Okay.
And keeping lube handy, that's a practical one. A study-length lube used to higher satisfaction. Makes things easier, smoother.
Literally smoother, yeah. Removes friction. What about getting your heart rate up?
Right. Doing things that give you a little thrill, even small risks, can boost dopamine and norepinephrine chemicals linked to arousal. And, of course, exercise. Good for mood, energy, libido. Right. Plus, Kegels for women are mentioned for strengthening pelvic floor muscles.
Right, cables.
So it's all these small background things keeping that potential alive.
Got it. Little embers, you could say. Okay, so that's nurturing arousal. Let's talk step 2. Actually dedicating those 12 minutes or less. We know the research supports the timing, but how do couples actually make it happen?
The book suggests a 4-pronged pact. It's about getting on the same page.
A pact. Okay, what's involved?
First, just agree to it. Agree to set aside 12 minutes, maybe twice a week minimum, for focused, quality connection.
12 minutes twice a week. That sounds actually quite achievable.
Right. Second part, stay open to opportunities. Be willing to be spontaneous, even if you're in the middle of something else.
Okay, embrace the moment.
Third, communicate honestly if you're really not feeling it, or if it's a genuinely bad time.
Important. And the fourth?
This one's key. Agree not to take rejection personally, and just look forward to the next chance. It tackles that fear of rejection head on, which can kill intimacy.
That's huge. Rejection can be such a mood killer. Having a way to handle it seems vital. Okay, step 3. Turning ordinary activities into erotic adventures.
Yeah, this is where it gets really fun and creative.
I bet.
The whole idea is to look at your daily routine and see where you can inject some spice.
Like the examples you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. Like quick oral sex while someone's shaving under 10 minutes, apparently.
Okay.
Or making Scrabble sexy somehow.
Sexy Scrabble.
Yeah.
Still trying to picture that one.
Yeah. Or a quick hand job during halftime or commercials.
Yeah.
Sex on the washing machine during the spin cycle.
It's spin cycle. Okay, that's dedicated multitasking.
It is. There's a whole section called chore-play.
Yeah.
But importantly, the book stresses communication first.
Right.
Don't just jump someone who's stressed about cleaning. It's about playful initiation, reading the room.
Good point. Adding fun, not pressure. Which brings us to step 4. Hitting hot button positioning. This isn't just about a quick orgasm, though.
No, definitely not. The book is clear. Orgasm isn't the only goal. Just 12 minutes of close cuddling can be really connecting.
That's good to hear.
But for maximizing pleasure quickly, the play-by-play sections give specific tips, moves, positions, what to wear, accessories.
Like a little instruction manual for quickies?
Pretty much. And it suggests visualizing these things beforehand.
Why visualize?
Helps build your own arousal, your anticipation,
Yeah.
and it can reduce performance anxiety, you know.
Makes sense. And the examples get pretty imaginative here, too.
Oh, yeah. Using dryer vibrations, playful smacks with a batter-covered spoon.
A spoon, okay.
Being lightly tied up while waiting for nails to dry. A blowjob while someone's eating ice cream.
Wow, okay. Definitely creative. It covers more than just penetration.
Totally. It talks about oral, role play, dirty talk, masturbation, different pleasure points, even using porn or sexting, light bondage, spanking.
A wide range.
Yeah, encouraging adventure, but always within your comfort zone. That's key.
And for the practicalities, like not getting interrupted.
Yeah. Huh. Yes, there's advice on that too. Watch the clock, pick spots wisely, closets, bathrooms, the car.
Okay.
Check your clothes afterwards, have an excuse ready if you're late for something, and, don't kiss and tell. Keep it your secret.
Adds to the thrill, maybe.
Yeah, do.
All right, let's get into some specific examples from the at-home entertainment section. I'm looking at halftime deep throat pass. Sounds targeted.
Very. Football halftime is about 15 minutes, right? So the book maps out a 12-minute scenario.
Okay.
It includes tips like reassuring him he won't miss the game, being bold, how to approach it, even a fake it option if deep throating isn't your thing.
A fake it option. Practicality wins again. What about sweet temptation? Involves dessert.
Yep. Teasing with dessert first, then transitioning to oral sex, maybe smearing some on his body playfully, ending with a kiss, engaging the senses.
It sounds sweet, literally. Tub cooling frolic seems more spontaneous.
Exactly. Waiting for the bath to cool down. Use that steamy moment for a quick naked encounter. Simple?
Makes sense. For the outdoorsy types, swing time in a hammock. Sounds precarious.
Huh? It gives details on positions, using lube, needing balance, and trust. Mentions a Kama Sutra position, slow movements.
Yeah.
Oh, and bug spray.
Bug spray, essential outdoor accessory. Okay, the big OM, that's yoga inspired.
Yeah, using downward facing dog as a starting point for sex. Needs lube, balance, offers a shift to regular doggy style too.
Interesting angle. Morning ring toss sounds direct.
Very. It's a quick, like, 3-minute thing. Applying a cock ring while he's half asleep for quick morning sex. Includes safety tips on fit, though.
Always important. Homegrown striptease is maybe a bit more classic.
Yeah, a slow teasing striptease. Using music, maybe a prop like a scarf. Step-by-step ideas for removing clothes seductively, building anticipation.
Ice cream lick off, playful, maybe messy.
Definitely playful. Licking ice cream off your partner's body to get them aroused, maybe taking turns. Lighthearted stimulation.
For story lovers, X-rated bedtime story.
Yeah, telling and acting out erotic tales. Mentions some research suggesting women can be aroused by stories with male dominance themes. Using voice, building tension.
Surprise greeting sounds bold.
It is. Being naked under a coat, revealing yourself right before leaving the house, maybe leads to hallway sex, maybe some dominatrix play, unexpected thrill.
Hallway sex, okay. Car key groping. That's sneaky.
Right. Pretending to look for keys in his pocket, but it turns into manual stimulation. A 5-minute scenario suggests a specific clasping hands job technique.
Tooling around, interrupting DIY.
Yep. Approaching your partner while they're fixing something, using a wrench playfully maybe, leading to a hand job. Unexpected context.
Bathroom bandit sounds like role play again?
It is. A 12-minute scenario, water gun, sponge, bath mat, maybe a scratchy loofah, playful attack, threats, forceful intercourse mentioned, safe word advised, fantasy exploration.
Okay, what about on hold hand job? That's effective.
Surprisingly practical. If you're stuck on hold for 5+ minutes, use the time. Resourceful intimacy.
Can't argue with that logic. Spin cycle sex, we mentioned the vibrations.
Yeah, nude sex on a running washing machine. Needs privacy, willingness to sit on an appliance, oral during wash, lean in during spin.
Okay, hot button computer research, mixing tech and touch.
Right. 5 of 8 minutes. Initiating while they're at the computer, maybe sit on their lap, look up some porn together. Still images suggested maybe. Spontaneous integration.
Dish duty, dirty talk, chores again.
Yep. While partner's washing up, maybe some playful slapping with a wet cloth, maybe oral sex, using the environment.
Dirty window washing for the exhibitionists.
Brief mention, yeah, sex by the window while cleaning it. Maybe no panties for extra thrill.
Delivery spanking, waiting for the pizza.
Huh, maybe. 5-10 minutes. Playful spanking while anticipating a delivery. Explains potential physiological effects, techniques.
Cupcake cooling cunnilingus, baking and pleasure.
Clever timing. Combining oral and finger stimulation while cupcakes cool. Using a batter-covered spoon for teasing. Simultaneous climax suggested.
Floor drying fun, slippery when wet.
Exactly. Sex on a freshly mopped floor. Using the slipperiness for movement. Hip swiveling.
Cleaning out the clutter clutch closet quickie.
An 8-12-minute stand-up encounter in an emptied closet.
Yeah.
Needs space. Suggests body press. Maybe using a belt or scarf lightly. Variations for penetration.
Work it in your home office. The boss secretary of fantasy.
In a modern setting, yeah. 10 minutes or less. Sturdy swivel chair recommended. Seductive entry. Leg cross reveal. Massage. Straddling.
Shower power hour, focusing on oral.
Yeah, 10-12 minutes in the shower. Positioning advice to avoid water spray, using a removable shower head.
Mirror, adding a visual.
Sex while watching yourselves in the mirror. Rear entry, G-spot focus suggested. Maybe lipstick for extra visual flair.
Closet quickie, the classic.
5-7 minutes. Fast encounter in a hall closet before a party, perhaps. Kneeling positions grinding. Quick and hidden.
Take out the trash tackle. Surprisingly mundane trigger.
Super quick, 3-5 minutes. Rear entry while taking out bins. Maybe role play as teens sneaking around.
Unloading more than the dishes, using the dishwasher's heat.
Yeah, 12 minutes. Sex in front of the dishwasher on its dry cycle. Using the steam, maybe a warm spoon for play. Timing orgasm with the buzzer.
Wow. Bringing eggs to a hard boil, another timed one?
Very quick, 5 minutes. Oral and finger play while eggs boil. Using an uncooked egg as a playful imaginary restraint.
Shaving tips, mutual grooming.
Brief idea, yeah. Shaving each other's pubic areas. Needs care, scissors. Electric trimmer suggested, not razors maybe.
Cooking with phone sex, multitasking connection.
10-12 minutes. Phone sex while cooking pasta. Building tension with words. Maybe encouraging self-pleasure. Hands-free phone useful.
And lastly, morning grooming with a helping hand.
Gentle start, 5 minutes. Assisting partner with shading, maybe, which naturally leads into manual stimulation.
Okay, wow, that is quite a list. An incredible range of ideas from just one part of the book.
Right.
It really drives home how many little moments exist if you just look for them, I suppose.
Hmm.
What really stands out is the focus on novelty, surprise, how mundane things become triggers.
Yeah, it's less about huge gestures and more about seizing these small opportunities,
Hmm.
which fits perfectly with that research about arousal happening relatively quickly.
It really does. And this is just a sample of the 75 scenarios in the book.
Just a sample. It really reinforces that idea. Even when you're incredibly busy, fitting in these brief moments of connection is possible
And valuable.
and so valuable
Hmm.
for the relationship, for you as an individual. And notice how many involve playfulness, different senses, maybe a tiny bit of risk. That can be really bonding.
Totally. So these excerpts, they give so many ideas you could try. Like, tonight, no big production needed.
Exactly. No hours of planning, just recognizing those little windows and being willing to, have some fun with it.
It feels like the main thing is shifting how you think about intimacy, seeing it not as a separate event, but something woven into daily life.
That's a great way to put it. So for everyone listening, maybe the takeaway is just pick one or two. Find one scenario from this list, or just the general idea, that feels doable for your life, your relationship, something that tackles that no-time feeling. And just try it.
Give it a go. Okay, on that note, here's something to think about. Now that you've heard all these ideas, what small, maybe unexpected moment today could you potentially seize just to add a little spark of intimacy to your routine?